Hey guys, how are you? I hope you're well and healthy. I am making this video because it's a rainy day in Spain and there's a weather alert, so I don't have much to do. And so I thought I'm going to get inspired and share some more of my inner experiences with health. While I do have a list of some of the topics I want to talk about, these videos, I make them as I go. And I am never sure what I'm going to share or if I'm going to overshare. So please bear with me as I talk and talk. So immunity, such a big word, right? Such a big word. In my last video, we talked about weight loss, and a lot of the elements are the same. You know, a lot of the elements of immunity, weight loss, well-being are the same. So obviously, a lot of things are going to be touched again. But mostly I wanted to talk about the healing elements that can help us create real immunity. Because let's be honest, who likes to be sick all the time? Who likes to be sick? Nobody. Even if some people like the attention they get when they're sick, still nobody likes to get attention that way. You know, we want real pure attention directly to us in a good way. So let's be aware of that too, of that fact that sometimes we seek for attention, which means our immune system is being attacked from the inside, from our own mind, from our lack of capacity to express, I need attention, I need love, I need care. So the body suffers in order for us to get that attention. So this is an important part of our health, is to learn to communicate our needs and feelings, and when we need care and when we need attention. That is one part of it. Not so easy for a lot of people. It was not easy for me. But I like to start with the phrase of, I don't know if you ever heard of Hermes Trismegistus, our first mystic and alchemist in history. Real figure, we don't know, we take it for real. And he wrote in the famous stone the phrase, as above so below, as inside so outside, as the body so the soul. So what I mean to say with that is that the same way you have an immune system inside, that you need certain elements to keep healthy and balance, you also have an outside shield that also requires a lot of attention. So how can we balance those two? So one is a reflection of the other, because that's the trick really, is one is a reflection of the other. And normally if the inside shield is good, the outside one gets stronger and stronger, and your body, a clean body, a healthy body, can perceive from far negative energy, toxic energies. We can even feel the change in frequency. If you walk by an antenna or something that is giving off radiation or some sort of, what do they call them? Well, the harmful, you can feel it. That's a body that is clean enough that can perceive changes that are harmful. So the outside shield will become healthier and healthier as the inside gets healthier, right? So I first made the connection with, for example, diet and immunity when I had a friend who had a child who was quite sickly, and she used to take him to the emergencies quite often, just the normal stuff, cold, snot, cough and all that. But the doctor, I was there one day, and the doctor said, why is your son here so often? And yeah, poor thing, right? And she said she didn't know. And then we went to pharmacy to get some medicine for him, and the pharmacist said, it's the diet. I was very young back then. I must have been 24, so I was a young mother still. I didn't know these things. So I was like, what do you mean the diet? He said, yes, your intestines have flora, which is this layer, like a layer that just selects, it's very intelligent, and selects what bacteria comes in and what bacteria needs to be rejected. And this flora, when it's strong and healthy, allows, it can get rid of anything. It can get rid of viruses, it can get rid of bacteria, it can get rid of anything that doesn't belong in the body, can clean it out. It's super intelligent. So what happens when we eat unhealthy foods, where now I have come to understand as acidic foods, is that the flora starts to suffer and it starts to diminish. And then when there are holes in the flora, when there are holes in that inner shield you have, obviously all those viruses penetrate into your body. A lot of people will go very heavy on the, for example, fermented foods in order to heal this flora, right? Because they heard that probiotics are good to heal the flora. I don't agree with that. I can understand that there are certain cultures, they're heavy on the fermented food, and the cultures that we believe to be very healthy, and they have longevity, and they have good lifestyle, like, the Japanese and all that. But I want to remind you that these people have many other practices that they do to keep a balanced body, mind, and soul. Not just the fermented foods. So again, it's a little bit what I like to call whitewashing. We take the thing that we think is the magic solution and we explode it. I remind you that the first they started talking about probiotics were Danone and these companies. They are selling you this Actimel thing in a plastic. Don't even get me started there. But let's remember, they have other practices. They're not relying only on fermented foods to be healthy. So if you have a gut problem and you think fermented food is going to solve it, I think you maybe you're not going to see the results you're expecting. You need to accompany this with other things. And usually people say, oh, these things cure my gut. These things cure my gut. These things cure my gut. See, a lot of things can cure your gut. But the real thing that is curing your gut is your perception that you need healing, and then doing things or figuring out ways in which you can do that. Because gut problems, again, like I said many times before, are stress problems. So a lot of people, when they go into this healing process and they're looking for alternatives, also they are dealing with their stress and they're dealing with the other things that are causing them problems. So it's not just the Actimel or the kombucha, it's not. I don't eat fermented foods. I feel completely bloated when I eat fermented food, even yeast, kombucha. I stopped obviously eating tofu years ago. I used to like tempeh. I stopped eating it years ago because I get inflammation big time. And it's down to my gut, the inflammation. I feel bloated. I feel pregnant. When you feel that belly that is not yours, that's it. So I don't eat fermented foods. Dr. Sebi doesn't advise on fermented food. We don't need fermented food because we don't consume acidic food. So our flora is strong, it's thriving, it's good. We know it because our bathroom schedule is good and we have no pain, we have no inflammation. So, I get that if you have a lot of bloating, fermented foods can help move things along. You know what I mean? But there are other things that can do that too. And, just eat lots of fruit. That will do it. Just drink herbs. That will do it. Even if you have extreme, extreme constipation, you can use other medicines like tobacco, pure tobacco. I'm not talking about take on smoking, obviously. But in medicinal ways, apply when it's needed only. Many things that we have come to know as vices or drugs can help us. Okay, can help us. I suffer from constipation when I travel and I bring a little bag of tobacco and that helps me every time. When I have a fever, I have a little coffee and that brings me back to myself. But because I don't use that any other time, they are medicinal to me. They work. If I was to consume coffee every day or smoke every day, then I couldn't use that as a medicine because it will have no effect. My body created tolerance on, right? So let's think about how many things we have lost the ability to use medicinally because we have abused them, okay? Including fermented food, okay? Including fermented food. So your shield inside, think about it. Where is everything coming in through all the outside? Through your mouth, right? So even down your breathing comes through your mouth as well because your nose has things to protect from the outside. It has mucus and it has hair. And your nose has two zones, and one zone heats up the air that comes in through your body, so the air is warm and it doesn't create any kind of the temperature inside your body is very important. That's why, Chinese medicine advises against ice and cold foods and cold feet and wet hair and things like that, because the temperature, especially in the winter, the temperature of the body, the inside of the body is very, it needs to be kept, it needs to be looked into it. That's when you drink a very cold drink or a Coca-Cola, you get the hiccup. It's a shock to the body. It's a shock. So the nose has a way to heat up the air that comes in, and with the hair and the mucus, it just grabs any hazardous things that could go in. But your mouth doesn't have that. And when we're talking, for example, about children and the snotty here, they're going to be taking all the air through the mouth too. So a lot of the toxins are coming in. They're coming in. We were talking about it in a workshop the other day, in a breath workshop. We breathe emotionally through our mouths. When we're scared, we do, we can't help it. When we're tired, any toxins are coming in all the time, right? It's not to be scared of, It's not to think like, I have to disinfect everything. That is not the solution. OCD in this way is not the solution, because the chemicals, when you clean your house so much and when you have to have everything, those chemicals are debilitating your system. So you probably will be healthier living in a bit of filth if your body is healthy and you're happy and you're taking all these things into consideration, that if you have a spotless house, completely immaculate, where there's try to kill every single bacteria, but you are in that environment too. It's crazy. And I've seen this time after time with people that have breathing issues, people that have, my house is clean with chemical products. That is a big hazard, guys. You gotta get used to, all the things. You gotta, the things in the clothes, your cleaning products, they smell wonderful. They don't really. Once your body becomes clean enough that you can smell toxins, you will not think that smells good. You will think that smells chemical. You can tell the difference between even an essential oil that is chemical and when it's natural. It's so easy. You probably perceive it when people walk by you and they have a cologne and you're like, oh my God, that is chemical. You know it, right? Your body's clean and your nose never lies. But if your nose is used to garbage stuff, chemical stuff, and it just can't tell the difference. Your body's too full of toxins itself to be able to tell what things are good and what things are bad. So when it comes to the flora, this is where Dr. Sevi gets a bit... how can I say this? Unpopular with you all. When I do these talks, it's always, garlic is not a good source of health. Garlic, like I talk about the tobacco and like I talk about the coffee, garlic is a very potent medicine. It is a very potent antimicrobial. It's so strong, it's so powerful that when we have toothache, earache, we take it and really help us. But if you are eating garlic constantly, especially raw, it's eating your flora, it's eating your bacteria. Garlic, you can smell it, you can see it. And Dr. Sevi goes a bit farther and he says that a lot of people swear by garlic because it kills cholesterol, and it does, but because it kills everything. It also kills your arteries, it kills your good stuff. I do not miss garlic at all. I have it very rarely when I have an infection, but day to day I don't eat garlic, and as much as it smells delicious, and it does, I don't miss the feeling of garlic. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly the feeling of garlic. Same as probably raw onion. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And that feeling you get, that burping and that hot air, and you think it's just, that, you know what that is? That is your gut bacteria exploding. Then you're gonna go and spend money on an Actimel to rebuild, but you're destroying it with your diet. It's maddening. Your body's like, what the fuck? Your body's like, you give me this, and then you give me that, and then you give me this. Cut it out. circuits of many things. They're working together at once to make you protected and to be able to feel secure in your own body. And so by feeling secure in your own body, you feel secure in your own mind and your abilities and your capacities to do things. And if you prefer to eat a burger or chips or packaged food instead of that feeling of safety that you can achieve from being healthy, then all your mental problems are striving from that, because you is in a way kind of betraying yourself and then wondering why you're feeling like this. Your health will give you immunity, and your immunity will give you mental peace. It's all connected, it's all connected. When people come with gut problems, they feel unsafe in their body. They won't voice it that way, but they feel unsafe in their body. They cannot predict their body. They don't know where it's going to come or how. So, to have safety, we need to be able to predict how our body's going to react to things. When we do cleanses, we suffer sometimes. We get sick because our body is detoxifying all this stuff. But that's a sickness that is voluntary. I volunteer myself for sickness, for pain, in order to be able to predict my body even more, to have this sense of safety with it. So I go into this length of, whatever it is you want to do, a cleanse, a juicing, a fasting, intermittent fasting, and it causes you fatigue, and it causes you blurred mind, and it could cause you body pains, severe body pains. Or you go to medicines, they are cleansing. I experience, for example, some sickness when I do my parasite control, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I need it. If I get sick, I need it. I need them to go. So if you start thinking of sickness or the feelings of being sick as a voluntary thing you do in order to create more stability in your body, yeah, you'll suffer, but you wouldn't suffer so much as like, oh my God, I got a lump. I don't know what to do. I don't know where it came from, what it is. You need to create predictability in your body, safety in your body. I'm not saying that because you're doing that, you're not going to suffer from anything. I would have to look at your natal chart for that. But you can indeed prevent a lot of stuff. I saw a funny thing the other day, and it say, how can you tell somebody's Argentinian, like me? And he said, by the vaccine scars. We were severely harmed by our vaccination. I obviously was a young mother, like I say. I didn't know all this stuff before. So I tell you that I gave my children some vaccines when they were first born. I regret it a lot, but I also take it as part of my awakening, what happened. So I'm glad, in a way, it happened. Like I said, I think the body's pretty smart, and watching my kids grow up and be super strong now, I believe that a lot of the toxicity that we were experiencing, myself included, has been or is on the way to be healed. I had reactions to vaccine every time I had them. My arm would swell up like that. I live in the middle of a farm, so it was quite scary for my parents. I had this ball. It looked like an eyeball in my arm. And I'd get a fever, and I'd suffer for days. And, I was a pretty sickly child. Now I come to understand. I didn't feel that way because I felt I was pretty, I'm gonna plug my computer, sorry. Pretty healthy. So I didn't question much. But then when I started listing all the things I had as a child, I had, hepatitis A, I had chicken pox, I got a scarlet fever, I had mumps, I suffer from my thyroid, like I told you, very rare disease. I had tonsillitis so often in my life that ended up with me having a massive infection on my throat that the doctors could not find because it was behind. for months. So I suffered a lot. I lost a lot of weight, and then finally I had my tonsils removed, all of it removed. I was 14, I think, and then my thyroid problem started, so that was trickled out from there into other things. So yeah, I was a pretty sickly child, and I had strong things, aside from all the colds and things. But my mom will always say like, oh well, but if you're a sickly child, then you create immunity for later on. Okay, I am pretty strong today, but I don't think it's that because of that, because up to my 25s, until I started realizing all the stuff, I was still suffering a lot. And most of all, I was suffering with my period. That was awful. The pain, the inflammation, the mood swings, they were pretty heavy. So I don't think that today I'm strong because of that. I think it's because I've done a lot of healing. But that concept we have, the ones, because a vaccine is what? It's like the disease in a miniature version. So you kind of go through the disease, your body kind of register, oh, we had the disease. Now we have antibodies for it, so we won't have it again. Okay, so my position on this, you understand what I think, but I am by you, and I am by myself, like I've done it many times, to try to understand if that is a real thing at all. If I need a disease in order to be healthy, I don't know. My kids have never had any of those things. Never. Especially my youngest, and I stopped vaccinating him when he was like 3 or 4. So I don't see the logic behind of it. And I've read extensively and I've talked extensively with people about this. Giving you the disease means you can prevent the disease. And if so, at this time and age we are today, let's not think about maybe back in the day when there was not so much, but this time and age, for example, is it worth it when we have treatment for most of these diseases? Like I've talked before about the tetanus shot, right? If you today stab yourself with something and you think you may have tetanus and you go to the hospital, you can get treatment for tetanus, right? You can get antibiotics for it. So why do you need a prevention for something that may never happen? Well, funny enough, the tetanus shot blocks your parathyroids. Your parathyroids are your pharmacy. Your parathyroids are where all the medicine in your body is being made. And it's my belief that by giving yourself the tetanus, or by giving somebody the tetanus shot, you are cutting the flow of the parathyroids. That's what they so insist on. Maybe now they put it in other things, but the dead cocktails that they invent, that they come up with. I don't know if parents today know just how many vaccines you're giving your child every time you give him a shot. It's not one. There's a lot of stuff in that liquid, There's a lot of stuff. When it comes to your children's health, you have to take control of it. I like to tell a story. When I was vaccinating my children, there were some vaccines that were on the calendar that the government gives you, and there are always other vaccines that the pharmaceutical come up with that cost hundreds of euros, and they're optional. At the time, I asked the doctor, I said, should I give him this? And he said, yes, I will give it to my child, of course. Will he have this? And I'm like, well, it's very rare, but... And when you just place all the authority on the doctor, so if something happens to your child, it's not your fault. That's how we do it, no? But what if what's happening to your child is because of what you are doing, because you're choosing to relegate your power to somebody else, right? But anyways, I was young, I bought the vaccine, I had it in the fridge for weeks. And then I took it to the doctor and she was going to give it to him. And at the last minute I said, no, I don't want to give it to him. Why? So because I had it in the fridge for weeks. You didn't ask me where, you buy it yourself at the pharmacy. And then you take it home and you put it in your fridge with your meat and your fish and then you take it to the hospital and they gave it to your child. Does that seem safe to you? Or is it just water? Am I just buying water for 150 euros? The whole thing smells so fishy to me. The whole thing. The whole thing just went like, what? What? So anyways, then I remember that as a child, my mom was a big fan of ER. She wanted to be a doctor. So she was very quick to diagnose me with things. And I always wonder whether mind over matter, right? Whether this, because when my children start having a little cold or something, I always said, oh, it's just your body cleansing, sweating, getting rid of toxin, just slip it off. Here's some orange juice, here's a tincture, here's some sea moss, here's a nice little pillow, here's a warm bottle, just rest. I've never been at the emergency room. Oh, well, I'm lying. Once, my oldest son used to suffer from asthma when it was chronic asthma when he was first born, and he would have severe attacks at night. One time we had to take him with an ambulance to the hospital because it was quite severe. And we did all the allergy tests. I removed all the carpets. I took the dairy off the diet. I removed the curtains. I will open the window at night so he could breathe the moisture like they told me. I did everything. And it worried me because it was breathing. And, breathing is it's no joke. You hear somebody that can breathe and it's really, really scary. Nothing worked. Anyways, I stopped giving vaccination. He stopped getting it. So I don't need more proof than that, I don't need more proof than that. They have never taken medication since. I mean, what more proof do I need? That since I stopped vaccinating them, we have never been back to the hospital. They have never needed anything. They're super healthy. They're super fit. They sleep well. They eat well. I mean, what was I doing? Well, I was following it, and perhaps my son's asthma, like I said before, is the trigger you need. It's like, oh shit. And I changed something, right? I stopped vaccinating them. And in that process of fear, because I was scared, obviously, I was scared even to sign them up for school. I was and obviously when the COVID came, that was a whole other issue with it, but when they asked me for papers and things, and I'm like, you know what, I don't care, I'm just gonna lie. I didn't have to in the end, but it's nerve-wracking to do something different and to take responsibility. And it's nerve-wracking at first. Eventually you start seeing the differences and you go, oh, okay, I made the right choice, I made the right choice. And there are viruses out there, but I'm gonna work on my children's being healthy from within. So even if a virus comes around, they are immune to it, or even if the virus it comes in their body is so strong, they can fight it off. You know what I mean? It's just like, fume, 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 fume. Bye-bye, virus. I'm a bit crazy, guys. But yeah, vaccination. My bottom line is the cause of all the diseases we have. That's my bottom line here, okay? Along with all the toxic things they give us. I don't know if it started like that. Maybe no, or maybe yes, Funny fact, when the Black Plague came, through rats. I think it was the Black Plague, or one of them. They kill a lot of people, It came through the water, which is, contaminating water is quite easily to do. But it was meant to be somehow passed by rats or something like that. So the Catholic Church decided that cats were the devil, and they sent everybody to hunt cats and kill them. So obviously without the cats, you have an overpopulation of rats. Now, what will drive the Catholic Church to do that? Why are cats suddenly so evil? And then you had the Black Plague. Same ideas, modern systems. You know what I mean? Get the people sick. Get the people weak. And that's one thing after you decide not to vaccinate anymore, or you give up all medical, interventions as much as you can. That's where you start realizing things. Everybody talks about the calcified pineal gland, is the first step. It's the first step to get that little thing moving and figuring things out for yourself. So if you had vaccine, you probably need to revisit the timeline, like I said last time about weight loss and the moments when we were traumatized. I think vaccines are super traumatizing. I still remember mine, and you have to go to the timeline and you have to fix that. And you have to forgive yourself and forgive your parents for not knowing what you know today. It's not easy because it's a different thing than trauma or things, but it's a form of trauma, right? Because if I make the connection that all of the diseases I had came from my poor immune system, they could have been severely weakened by the vaccinations I was receiving, then all the suffering I went through as a child, and there was lots of it. I have to do some work on that, right? Having hepatitis was really hard. I have to be in bed for 4 months. 4 months, yeah. I was 6 at the time. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't go outside. I couldn't see anybody because I was contagious to them. My whole family had it, so I wasn't the only one, but we were split into family members, you know. I was told that my liver could just disintegrate, you know. I was very scared. So that's a lot of trauma too that I have to heal from and try to see it as a motivation to try and change now. And all of that pain cannot be for nothing. I realized, oh well, it was so annoying mostly, and that it helped me question things. Definitely did, you know. Like, why am I going through this? What the hell? Why no everybody's doing this? Why blah 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 blah? And I started, you know, figuring things out for myself. So like I said, in the disease lies the awakening, the seed of truth. Then you have to go through it. I don't think that is the only way. I think perfectly healthy people or children or people that have making these changes can see it for themselves. Our children went through a lot of pressure through the lockdown, especially those of us that have kids in school. They were asked in front of everybody if they were vaccinated. They were pushed. Their rights were completely violated by the schools, by the health centers, by the doctors, by the governments. Our rights as parents too, in many places. People had really hard times with this, really hard times. Let's just say that humanity was lost at the time. People lost their jobs. People were ostracized. So I do believe this vaccine was physical, but I think it was also a mental vaccine, a fear-mongering vaccine. We know this. So our systems became really depleted during this time. Even those of us that were trying to stay healthy and find new alternatives, I felt the weight of this time. And I feel that a lot of the things we experience now, aside from the vaccination, the people that had the vaccine are experiencing things they have to deal with for that choice they made. But aside from that, I feel that we're still all trying to rebalance ourselves from that. I think it broke us in a way, and it's helping us rebuild ourselves stronger, which is really good. But in the process, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of, right now, why am I feeling like this? Why am I so fatigued? Why am I so tired? Why do I have chronic pain? Why no matter what I do, I don't have the energy I used to have, you know? I can run as much, I can do as much. My mind, I have I can sleep, you know? We are still dealing with a lot of things, of these things that were, in my opinion, targeting our immune systems, okay? That was always the goal, to target our immune system in many different ways. For those that took the vaccine, through the vaccine. For those that didn't take the vaccine, through the fear of not taking the vaccine, through the criticism of not taking the vaccine, through the guilt of not taking the vaccine. We all felt it, okay? One way or another. So immunity and vaccination, to me, are not synonyms like for everybody else. For me, they are opposites. To me, vaccines are a hazard to my health and to my children's. And not being said that if you have vaccinated your children, all is lost. Like I'm telling you, there's healing possible. But I will insist with you that I had an experience as a child, and my children have a very different experience. And the thing that has changed around is the parenting, the mentality we have. I have trust in their immunity because I feel their elements are there. And the main element when it comes to immunity, besides vaccines, besides food, besides this, I'm going to tell you what you don't want to hear, is your nervous system. A disbalance, a shock, a moment of anxiety, a moment of extreme fear or stress can say your immune system in such a wreck that could take you up 2 years to recovery, that providing that in those 2 years you didn't have another episode like that, right? Because then it's another 2 years. I've done some thinking about this, and I'm thinking it's because nervous cells take about 2 years to regenerate. So for your nervous system to regenerate, you will need about 2 years of time to have a reset new system, right? Again, providing you don't stress yourself out in those 2 years. Otherwise, it just keeps starting again. I'm not going to go through the whole process again of what stress does. Stress creates cortisol. Cortisol are hormones. Hormones need nutrients. Your body sends nutrients to make cortisol for the stress, so your body starts getting depleted of the nutrients it needs for other functions because everything is going to the mind for the stress. Gut is the first sign of stress because it's the second brain, so body starts taking from there. The body then starts taking from parts of you that are not so important, like your hair, your nails, your skin. So if you have any of those problems, it's probably a stress related to. And finally, then your body starts taking from where it can. Maybe your heart, maybe your lungs, important parts you really need. And then finally, it will take from your bones. And then you will lose mobility, and then you will lose mental clarity and mental functions. Your body's smart, and it tries really hard. Sometimes I look at people and I look at their diet, and they're like in their 30s, 40s, and I'm like, you really don't appreciate how incredible your body is for the shit you're giving it. They're still walking around here 40 years in, eating nothing but processed, fatty, greasy food, alcohol, sugar, coffee, and your body's still moving you around. Zero exercise, zero fresh air, zero sunlight, and your body's still moving you around. It just blows my mind how intelligent and resilient the body is. When you make that connection, that what you eat is what makes your body, like literally, and your body needs 108 minerals, and the food you eat don't have all those minerals. So your body is somehow managing this imbalance by taking from here, putting here, taking here. It's working so hard. It's working so hard to keep you going, to keep you moving. But it's coming into unpredictability. It's coming into the realms where you cannot control what's going to happen, and things just happen like that. A heart attack, an aneurysm. It happens like that. So you can predict when you are depleted of minerals, how your body's gonna be. You can. So nervous system. Okay, I stopped vaccinating my children. That was one element that I think was important for their health. But more importantly, and I changed the diet too, but also not the main problem. We used to have a business, a restaurant, a bar, and it used to cause us a lot of stress. There's a lot of bad energies here, a lot of alcohol, a lot of fights, a lot of problems with the staff, a lot of problems with customers. And my husband and I work together. So obviously a lot of marital issues we had. So our house situation was kind of unstable for our children. Half of the time I was thinking about moving out, going somewhere else, starting a new job. Half of the time, we were taking a break, or all of those things you go through, There was alcohol. I likely don't drink much, but there was a lot of alcohol involved in here, a lot of toxic things. And I also had, obviously, like my husband, we both have a lot of trauma from our childhoods that we're dealing with. So that was also playing big time, projecting it onto each other. So we were not creating the most harmonious environment for our children to be in. And I was sensing that through sometimes some of the things they were experiencing themselves. No big things, mild things. And it was taking me a lot to my own childhood and the time when my parents started divorcing, and how it affected me, and how a lot of my problems starting either then or around then, or things like that. The feeling of safety that you feel in your body when you're healthy. And since that is so outside, it's a feeling of safety we also have to have in our day-to-day lives, in our homes. And we don't always have that. Most of us didn't have that growing up. And I think our trauma response is trying to overcompensate for that with our children today, trying to make them, we cater for them so much. We do everything for them. Our older generations are saying slapping should come back and things like that, but we are like, no, they're because we had a space to do our healing, and we have come to realize things our parents didn't have the space for healing. I could go into astrology on why, but our generation, millennial generation, is mostly Libras and Scorpios in Pluto. So generationally we had a balancing and a need for essence rather than material stuff. We were not born to accumulate material wealth, and a lot of our trauma comes from the pressure our parents had to all of these things in the capital, when the capitalist world exploded right before we were born or while we were children. So our experience is very different. We need soul. We need to understand ourselves. We need to dig in our darkness. It's just our generational identity. You know what I mean? So because we are that kind of generation, we are overcompensating with our children a lot. We are being way softer, and I think in response, some kids can be spoiled rats these days. I'm not going to disagree with you, but in response, most of our children are healthier, well-adjusted, freer, more honest, more loving, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I'm not saying that any generation is better than the other. I'm saying every generation must deal with things that the other may have no idea about, And our generation has that kind of mentality that we need to know ourselves. And in the process of knowing ourselves, we got to know all the things that were hurting ourselves, diet-wise, environmentally-wise, all of these things are very important. So I think that this safe space that we're providing to our children and the sudden changes we need to make in our lives that most of our parents don't understand and they sometimes judge are always in the search of this balance, of this well-being. We women have gone from the mentality of I can do everything, I'm the boss lady, to this no, that was our mothers. They tried to do that and now they're suffering from extreme anxiety and depression. Do I want to go that way? Is that healthy? No, it's not. So we're coming back to a different, more balanced self where no, we can do everything. Why would you want to? Wouldn't that really stress you and strain you? No, do what you can when you can. And I also have come to understand that if I have the mentality, if I do what I can when I can, if I relax myself, if I don't take everything head on, I don't get sick. So then I can do so much more because I don't go so fast, but I also don't stop so often, So I can go much farther and it doesn't feel so heavy all the time. And like I said, when I'm sick because I'm choosing to be sick, because I want to cleanse and I want to go deeper. And sometimes we put ourselves through painful situations just to be able to do that. So a balanced nervous system, I believe that the nervous system is the connection. It's the connection between the inner and the outer, I think it happens somewhere right here, the torus, the center of the torus, where the in and the out melt into one. A lot of people call it like a black hole or a white hole or whatever you want to call it. There's this torus field that goes like that and it comes out again, and it goes like that and it comes out again. So it's just from here, it goes out and to the field and back in. So right here is the center where the outer field and the inner field meet up, okay? Right here in the middle of your body. So these two fields come together there, and if they're balanced, if they are both, energetically rotating then you feel not only the well-being inside, but also the shield outside. And when somebody comes in your field that is not good for you, you will made to know this. You will know this. Your body will make you aware of this. You will make you aware that person is lying or deceiving you. You will be aware, like I said, if there's something in the environment that is not healthy for you, you'll be aware of many, many things. So anything you can do to help the situation where you're causing you stress, that's where you create your immunity. As we talked before, bad eating is emotional eating, right? So emotional eating is stressful. You're not enjoying it. So emotional eating is a form of stress. So if we fix the stress, we're probably going to stop emotionally eating, right? And emotionally eating is what then happens when we choose the bad food, when we choose the bad things that we shouldn't be eating. So aligning a nervous system comes first. And for that, there's practices, like walking barefooted, going in the water, going in the sun, relaxing, descending to the body, meditation, blah, blah, you name it, dancing, cooking, eating, anything that takes you away from the mind space that is stressing you out, descending to the body. If it doesn't come easy to you to do that just in meditation, then you need to practice movement meditations. Meditation is observing yourself. That's what it is. So when you dance, be the dance, like Osho says, be the dance. When you walk, be the walk. When you cook, be the cooking. When you paint, be the paint. Don't be the person doing it, be the art, so you can get rid of the mind. So you're not thinking about, I want to create this. No, I am just creating myself, right? So, things like that, and even reading material like that is very helpful for the immune system. The subconscious mind is what all happens. It all happens in the subconscious mind. So your immunity also happens there. Your body is your subconscious mind is keeping you immune, even if you want it or no, even if you have a saying or no, if you have a choice or no. If you're not feeling like you are immune enough, like if you are constantly getting cold, sickness. People say to me, when the kids go to school, they get sick, right? They do, trust me, they do. But I don't know if it's a given that they have to get sick. I don't know if you can just be complacent with the thought of, all the kids are sick, so my kid is sick too. Or if you should feel like, what is my kid sick? Or especially if you get sick often, Like I said, everybody gets sick once in a while to reset the body, but if we're sick quite often and miss school quite often, then maybe we should look into it. No, maybe it's not just because it's going around. What if it's my kid is the one that is sending it around because the immune system is so depleted that anything going around turns into a sickness, you know? The subconscious mind is where we can strengthen our system, especially the aura system. But the subconscious mind needs work. It needs connection. It needs for you to educate yourself on how the subconscious mind works and talks to you, and you talk to it. And how your subconscious mind, like I said last time, listens to everything that you say and do. So what if I say, oh, there's a virus going around? Oh, you heard it. Now, if your body is not out of balance enough, then maybe it's needing some attention, like we said at the beginning, or it's needing a rest, but you're not giving it the rest. Oh, I found this cues. I found this cues. So no predictability there. Well, predictability in the sense that you're going to get sick anyway. So yeah, just because it's going around doesn't mean you have to have it, right? I always like to talk about when I got COVID. I went all 3 years or 2 years without so much of a feeling anything, nothing. I was not very careful, you know that. I didn't care. I'll hug people, I'll drink from the same glass, I don't care. I don't believe in this stuff. Then I got COVID. I tell you why I got COVID. I got COVID because I went through a very, very traumatic situation with a friend. They had something really, really bad happen to them, and it was really, really horrible. And the same night when I found out, and it went through my body what had happened, because it did go through my body. As soon as I heard it, I couldn't control my shaking and my fear and my everything. And that moment, the bag said, this is my chance. And it went right in. And then I had a dream that somebody came and stuck that thing into my nose against my will. And they were saying to me, I had COVID, so you need to test it. Somebody that I knew said that to me, who I had seen recently too. And the day after I had COVID, I fought it. I was like, no, I'm not having this. No. But I had it. I don't know if I had it because I didn't test myself, but it was in line with what everybody was saying they were having, you know? So this was a very strong virus. I was stronger than the virus for a long time. I was so much stronger than the virus. But my mind was that day, that moment, that instant moment, my defenses dropped. I dropped everything. Everything in my body went cold and numb, and I got sick. And it was so crazy for me to figure that out, you know, like, oh wow. It happened. I let it in, you know. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it, because if I would have been able to help it, I would have not felt what I needed to feel in that moment. So one way or another, my body needed the pain, because I was mentally in pain. So it would have been something else. But at that time, the first thing in line was COVID to catch. So I caught COVID. And it was very painful, I have to say. At no moment I had fear with it though. I was in bed for a long time. I was in a lot of pain, so especially my muscles and all. But I had no fear. At no moment I thought I was going to die. In no moment I was just like, when is this going to end? That was all my thought. And that's the thing about working on your traumas and your body and your immunity, is that you can talk to yourself through it, and you can help yourself through it, and you can bring yourself back to health through it mentally. Like Shakespeare always said, my mother always says, don't say you're sick, say you're healing, you know. We are always healing from something at all times. So something I want to finish with is they talked on, a lot of people are saying now there's no immune system, there's lymphatic system. I agree with that to some extent. I believe that, the immunity system is this in and out, right? This shield outside, this shield inside. And remember the skin. We didn't talk about the skin, but your skin is also your shield. Huh? We talked before about the caring of the skin. But the inside shield is your flora, most of it. There's other parts, but that. And the outside shield is your electromagnetic field, right? So, the lymphatic system, I would say, is more of the way, the practical, the functional way that the body gets rid of anything that is toxic to it, right? So the lymphs are these nodes that we have in different parts of our bodies that basically just they pick up the toxics and then they try to get rid of it in different ways. So that's when we get sick, we always feel our glands are swollen. It's because there's probably something that they absorb from the body that now they're trying through the lymphatic system, through the connections between the lymphs, is trying to get rid. Normally they will come through up here into the sweating area. This is one way they get rid of it. And then down through the sole of our feet and through our skin. And there's ways that the body gets rid of toxicity. So yes, if you want in a practical way learn how to detoxify your body and improve your immune system, it will absolutely be through your lymphatic system. There are things you can do to help your lymphatic system be strong and working properly. So you have your sweating, which is exercise is one way. The other one is saunas. And sometimes when your body is in excess of whatever toxin is that is causing problem, you will get a fever in order to sweat it out. And the high temperature the body gets will kill also, attempt to kill microbes. So of course, when you are a mother and you go with your son or your daughter to the doctor and they have a fever, paracetamol. Of course, if your children have a fever high enough that they're seizuring, you will want to calm that. Although seizures are not always harmful either, I have seizures during psychedelic experiences. They're not that weird, they're not that bad, they don't feel that crazy. But anyways, obviously nobody want to see the kids seizuring. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the normal temperature, 40, 41, when your body's trying to fight something off. If you're going to do is to turn, to lower the temperature with paracetamol, you are killing your defenses. That is your defense. The fever is your defense. You need the fever. So why paracetamol all the time? I did have a pediatrician that told me this, and I was very grateful for him. It was him, because I never thought of it that way. And you just follow instructions, and paracetamol can lead to hypothermia if you're not careful. So just because it seems harmless and is sold in the pharmacies like it's nothing, it doesn't mean it's nothing, It lowers your temperature drastically. So rather than to lower the fever, just let's learn to manage it. Let's learn to be comfortable with it and do things that will help us feel better. Normally, if we let it, the body will be back to normal in no time with the systems it has for this. But if we keep intervening with paracetamol, with ibuprofen, with vaccines, these systems, of course, the body has no chance. And we see kids that get sick and sick and sick. My friend, when I told you all the problems she has with her kid, and the doctor gives her paracetamol and antibiotics again. So again, there's no defenses. The defense is in your body. Paracetamol cannot defend your body. It can always lower your temperature. And the temperature and the fever is the defense mechanism. Okay? So from there on, if you understand this, Tell me, how can you justify continue taking your children to the pediatrician when they're sick? Because I couldn't justify that anymore. If the person that is meant to know all this doesn't know this, what am I doing? What am I doing? Right? Sorry, just you have to understand that deep down I don't believe they have bad intentions. You understand? I don't believe they even understand what they're doing. I think they went to college for 10 years and they were some brainwashed by long names and Latin names of things and things that they have a mess in their heads, and all they know how to do is enter symptoms and print whatever comes in the computer. There are holistic doctors. I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about this system doctors that we take our children to. So anyway, let your body do its work, okay? And if you want to work on, building your immune system, building your lymphatic circulation, helping your lymphs detoxify easier. Like I said, sweating is good, saunas, exercise, things like that. They say jumping up and down helps you because gravity, boom, boom, boom. Lymphatic massages are very good. So start from here. I mean, one sign of a stagnant lymphatic system is puffy eyes here. Puffiness, inflammation is a system. So like this, you have here limbs, and we start from here, getting rid of the toxin, pushing that way. It's important to know which way you should massage your face as to make it natural, right? So like that, and then it goes down here, and it comes down, and then we push down into the armpits, and then go slower. You have it also inside your legs. This massage is activate. I mean, I feel my face already. I feel it warm, and it's already feeling like something is happening, and I only done it like twice. Self-care, right? Self-care. And to finish, if you want some herbal medicine to help you with your immunity, well, I just brought this so I remember what's in it. My tincture for lymphatic drainage. Obviously, there's many things you can take for things, right? Many things. There's not just one. But in my lymphatic drainage, I use echinacea, because we all know echinacea. Who doesn't know what echinacea does? It strengthens the immune system, which it does to say it helps clean toxins, right? Then I put calendula, because it's a natural antibiotic, and it's also very good for detoxification of the skin, which is what we need also to detoxify, to get rid, because the skin is the last frontier, right? Of the physical. It's the last frontier. So a lot of gets stuck in the skin. So if you get a lot of, things, a lot of people get them in the limbs, like balls or things like that, it's because you need more drainage. Calendula in the skin can help with that. Oregano is a very powerful antibiotic. We know this now. So I put oregano in it just as a way of killing bacteria that is laying around in places it shouldn't be. And then finally, ashwagandha. Because, we talk a lot about the power of the mind over the body, and how when a mind is stressed and we have mood swings, we're eating all our nutrients with the cortisol the mind creates when it has stress. So ashwagandha is in a way a mood stabilizer. It's also a lymphatic aider. It helps a lot, but the way I see it, it helps because it helps us balance our mood, and when we balance our mood, we're not causing so much damage to our body, right? So, like I said before, the body is different parts. It's one, but it's different parts. And we cannot expect the body to work well if the mind is not working well. And we cannot expect the other thing also either. You cannot have a very unhealthy body and be at peace in your mind and find that inner peace that we need in order to live our lives the best way we can, right? So that is more or less all I wanted to say about immunity. And the immune system. I forgot I was going to talk a little bit about also cellular memories, because, we talk about ancestral work and a lot of the wounds we have that we carry from generation to generation. And that's when genetics comes into play, and the body that is not immune protected. Yes, it will develop diseases, but sometimes it will also activate certain genes. It means that we are activating the wounds and diseases that our ancestors had. So, for example, if there's a lot of breast cancer in your family, you will activate the breast cancer gene. If there was a lot of skin cancer, you activate that. If there's a lot of diabetes, you activate that. We come with these genes. They are passed generation to generation, and they give us what we tend to be more inclined to get, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I experienced this with my own body. I'm third or fourth generation, I would say fourth generation breast cancer survivals, and I feel it. I feel it when I am stressed, when I am unhappy, when I don't look after myself, especially when I fight with my partner or my children. I feel it right here. And I know that if I don't do something about it, it's gonna come. So I do everything I can about it. Most of all, I bring a lot of love to that area of my body. I bring a lot of massage, a lot of attention, a lot of kind words, a lot of awareness. That is our most sensitive point in my body. So I bring a lot of attention to it, and I try to activate a lot of things in that part. And when I'm doing, sound healing, so breath work or anything like that I go to, is always in the service of my body, and it's always in the service of these parts of my body that need the extra health. And it feels good doing it, to be honest. It just feels like I can do it. I feel it. I feel the security in my body that we can treat this ourselves. We can deal with this ourselves. But we are working on prevention. We're not working only with the consequences, okay? But I had a vision, and I'll finish with this. I had a vision not long ago. A friend of mine went to India, and when he came back, he said a guru told him that we humans are so silly. We are all here running around and complaining, and and there's a line up there of souls waiting for an opportunity to come here. Imagine that you're in an amusement park in a long ride, and the line, it takes forever, and then it's 5 minutes when you're on it. Not even. What is it? 1 minute when you're on it, and then it's done, and you waited hours for that 1 minute. That's how it works. And you're going to be working a long time to get this opportunity again. And a lot of people think it's because, we're going to go into evolution, the soul, reincarnation, you have to perfect yourself and blah, blah, blah. And you can believe that. That's great. I believe in that too, I'm not saying. But my vision, my channel was that the body is fucking amazing. There's nothing like it anywhere else in the whole of existence. There's nothing like the human body. Nothing. The human body comes from a planetary evolution of many planets before. And in each planet, which acquire a new element, and then it starts with fire. This is what Rudolf Steiner talks, and the Christian mystics talk a lot. And then we acquire warmth, and then we acquire fire, and then we acquire air, and then we acquire water. And on Earth, which we call Earth, we acquire Earth, the physical. The physicality of all the elements come together can only come in the body, with spirit in the mind and the soul. And these lectures that I read or I listen to, and then they come in the form of meditations, they take form, and I see them, I integrate them. It takes me a while sometimes, it takes me a long time to understand something I read until I can see it in the meditation, how it happened. And the feeling I stay with is like, you have no idea how much you love this, how much you waited for this experience, how much you were like, oh, I'm going to have my own body, and I'm going to be able to move myself, and I'm going to see, and I'm going to hug, and I'm going to do all these things. And you waited for this for so long, for your turn on the ride, for your turn to have a body. Is so mystical and incredible and amazing, and there are so many souls waiting for a chance, and here we are forgetting it all and just wondering and worrying, and it's like as if you had a Ferrari, let's just say something stupid like that, and you used it only, just to go to work every day, and you never took it for a spin, you never did anything crazy with it, you never tested it to see how fast it can go. That's how crazy it is that we don't live fully the magic that the human body is. There's nothing like it, guys. There's nothing like it. And once you're done with this, you're gonna have to wait a long time for another opportunity. Whether time happens that way or not is a different matter, but it won't be instantaneous. You're gonna have to integrate a lot of what you did here in order to come back. So I leave you with that idea that maybe this is a crazy ride and you wanted this so much, and now you're here and you're maybe not taking full advantage of it. But maybe that perspective will help you realize that and you only get this body, and as the time goes, it starts to change and change and change. So every moment matters, every day matters. The body can enjoy a lot of things. I'm not saying you have to go climb a mountain every day. The body enjoys rest a lot. But when you're resting, what I'm saying is, when you're resting, do you enjoy the rest? Do you, get under there and just go like, oh, my body, I enjoy, I love it. If you don't, I invite you to do it, because, like I said before, this is your relationship in life, your body and you. The first one, the main one, the longest one, the only one, because once that relationship ends, your life ends here, So how do you relate to your body is what gives you real health and immunity. And how you enjoy your body and are aware through knowledge and wisdom that this is a unique opportunity. You wanted this, and maybe you're wasting it. That can bring a new path of true health and balance. All right, guys? I hope you have a great day. Stay dry if you can. And how is your immunity? Let me know. How do you feel like your body is coping with all the bombardment of toxins and negativity we experience every day through reality, through Maya, through the Matrix? There's no escaping it. So yeah, let me know if you want. And if you want to share this video with anybody that you think may benefit from it, that would be really, really grateful. I will be really grateful. All right, guys? I wish you a great day. Bye.